Let's get into the next one, and I have a feeling
Oh
we
boy.
we might have some debates over this one.
So it starts off with a Goo Goo Dolls ass sounding band, even though this is probably 10 years before the Goo Goo Dolls became popular. But it's got some really edgy music that it starts off with. Second thing is I can't believe that I was only in eighth grade when this movie came out. Like it feels like it's a lot more recent than that. That's pretty crazy. The music was by Brian May from Queen, so he did the soundtrack for this one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wes Craven had nothing to do with this one again, so this is another one without him along the way. And now we're 10 years in the future, and all of the kids, with the exception of one, have been killed off in the town of Springwood, which is where we've been based up to this point. So we've been based in Springwood. And another spoiler for a movie that came out when I was in eighth grade, and I'm now 48 years old. Um, this is the child. This is the dream child. This last remaining child in Springwood who's trying to escape Springwood, cracks his head, gains amnesia, doesn't know who he is. This is Jacob from number five.
Or is
Confirmed.
it?
Yeah.
It's actually not, but
I read it on Reddit, so it must be true. No.
that's
I
what
don't
you're
know.
led to believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So okay, continue.
Okay. So I'll continue. Okay, all right. So there's one remaining kid in Elm Street. He's on the loose. He's trying to escape. He goes through an enormous dream sequence that lasts a really long time that incorporates bits from Looney Tunes cartoons and The Wizard of Oz and all sorts of things. At one point in time, Freddy Krueger goes flying by on a broomstick like the Wicked Witch of the West and calls him a bitch, I believe. But so for whatever reason. It seems like Freddy's trying to stop him from getting away from Springwood, but then Freddy forces him out of Springwood, which is very strange because this whole time I thought he was trying to get away. He kept saying, "I'm almost got out. I almost got out." And then Freddy's like, "Yeah, get out. I'm gonna make you get out." And he like tears through the town, the barrier between Springwood and the rest of the world, like a cartoon because he leaves a like a silhouette like they do in cartoons when they go through the third wall or the fourth wall. And yeah, off he goes into the real world. But he cracks his head and doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, I'll say it. I like this movie. I really like it. I understand all the criticisms. I've heard them all before, and it's like, yeah, they're all right. Like, it's like absolutely correct. Those are valid criticisms. But I find the movie is just so freaking fun to watch. Like everything about it is
Yeah.
just so ridiculous and awesome that it's like it's so goofy that you just like it's just like it has like a charm to it, right? And part five was actually kind of serious. Like it dealt with like abortion and other serious
Right.
topics.
Yeah.
This one, it's like forget it, pure Looney Tunes and Freddy kills and it makes no sense. Yeah, it's like he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to get away," and then Freddy's like, "Go, bring me more." It's like,
Yeah.
but what? So you're trying to? Is he trying to get? I don't get it. Like you explained it right. It just
Why were
doesn't.
you stopping him if you want him to go? Like, what the heck?
But it's like if you just forget that, like it's got
Yeah.
so many fun things in it, and every time I watch it, I always have this fear I'm finally going to be like, you know what? I see what everyone says. This is terrible, but every
Yeah.
time I watch it, I'm like, nah, it's still just so fun. I just like everything about it, but it's like I totally understand. It's like I can see why you would hate it for those exact same reasons because it's just
But
stupid.
at the same time, it's not like it's a movie that not like a regular type of movie that I hate in the respect that, I'd give this a three or anything like that. I
Mm.
would still give this a six or seven. It's still
Yeah,
a really good movie. Like
yeah.
the Breckin Meyer's in it, young Breckin Meyer, guy who plays John Arbuckle in all the modern Garfield movies. Um, I have a love-hate with him anyway over the years, but either way, he's a very young character in this, and Freddy. There's a lot of really cringy memes that he does with his Nintendo kill because Breckenmeyer gets killed in a video game, and there's lots of talk of now you're playing with power and all that kind of business.
Yeah.
Nintendo ads from the '80s, it's pretty cringy, but it's also pretty funny.
Yeah, and um yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that is true or if that's just like an internet theory that he's Jacob. Maybe that's true. But the movie leads you to believe that he's Freddy's kid. He believes he's Freddy's kid
Yeah.
for like probably half the movie or even
Yeah.
more until Freddy reveals like no, wrong, and then kills him. And then you
Yeah.
find out that it's like, oh no, it's the woman who's like the um therapist or whatever at this home for troubled kids. She's Freddy's kid.
And funnily enough, that psychiatrist that is Freddy's daughter is played by Billy Zane's sister.
Yes, yes. I definitely looked because yeah, they had that same name. So as soon as I saw that name, I was like, hey, they got to be related. Yeah, that's his sister.
Yeah. And we also have a Yaphet Kotto from Alien appearance. He plays a really cool psychiatrist in this movie that does dream business with these guys. He teaches them lucid dreaming.
And he might be the only like adult who believes the kids right off the bat. Most of them they either refuse to believe altogether or they refuse to believe like Nancy's dad until it's too late and then they get killed. This guy
Yeah.
flat out is like, yeah, I believe you. And this movie has appearances by Alice Cooper, which is cool to see. And in
Yep.
this one, you get to see a little bit more about Freddy's past, about how exactly
Right.
he got these powers, which I think I would have been happy if they never explained it, but they did, and whatever. Basically, he was killed, and then some dream demons who look like little skulls
Yeah.
with tails on them, they came to
They
him
look
and
like flying sperms with skulls for heads.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then they're on fire or something, and they
Yeah.
basically like, hey, we'll give you these powers, and they're like, okay, so they get sucked into him, and all of a sudden he has these powers to kill people in their dreams, and it's like,
Yeah.
whatever, it's good enough, I guess. Um, and this one, much like kind of like the first movie ends, where they go into the dream world and drag Freddy to the real world and then they fight him and they end up sticking like a pipe bomb in his mouth or in his chest or
Yeah.
something and blow him up. And his last word is kids, and then he explodes.
Yeah. And it
And
looked pretty cool. I mean,
it did.
I,
It
I
was
mean,
it was a
yeah.
3D movie. Uh,
Yeah.
there's even a part. Apparently, if you watch the documentary, there was confusion in the theater, like where people didn't know when to put the 3D glasses on. Because
Right.
people would like it was only the end of the movie that was in 3D, so people would put
Yeah.
them on and they're like, "Hey, this movie's not 3D," so they take them off. So there's some confusion. But there's a part in the movie where
Yeah.
Yaphet Moto's like, "Here, put these on," and hands the woman the 3D glasses to put on, and it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, come on!" It's so cheap, but yeah, it
That's
looked
when they travel into Freddy's brain for everyone. They travel into his brain, and they use a lot of those tricks that they used in movies when in early 3D, where it was you know that you're supposed to be watching a 3D part because everything is flying right in your face like this.
yeah, yeah. And of
All the
course
dream
now
people were there, you know.
years later, and it's not in 3D, it's not as impressive looking.
Yeah.
Um, but the movie, it has cool stuff. Like the kills, like that video game kill is kind of
Yeah.
cool, but it
Yeah.
makes no sense. Like, okay, so Freddy in the dream world is
Yeah.
controlling this guy, and you see him like in a crappy looking Nintendo video game jumping
Yeah.
around. But he's also jumping around in real life. Like
Yeah.
his friends are freaking out. He's banging his head on the wall and everything. But then all of a sudden, this like portal to hell opens up in the floor, like in real
Yeah.
life, and he falls down it. And it's like, but that's not in the dream. That's in real life. Like that they just
There's
they
a lot of there's a in this one there's a lot of dream crossing into real life stuff that doesn't make sense. Like when they get stuck in the loop going through the
yeah.
town,
It's like
that
yeah,
doesn't
when
make
they're in
any
the dream,
sense.
they're yeah.
There's also a crazy cameo by Tom and Roseanne Arnold at that point in time because they were married
Oh
at that point in time and they were very high on cocaine. And you can tell what they were going nuts. But you know, it looked like they were having a lot of fun. So
yeah, there's so many things like this in this movie that are like
yeah,
it makes no sense. And they even yeah, like they break their own rules because that scene you described earlier with
yeah,
Freddy's driving the bus and then he hits the main guy and
yeah,
knocks him out of the dream world into the real world. So that's like, oh, there's some sort of border there. But then when they're driving around, it's like, but they're
yeah,
not dreaming. So is the whole town just become the dream world? Like
yeah. How
they
are they
just
stuck?
they break their own rules. But the thing is, even if they are in the dream world, they still go into that house and fall asleep in order
Yeah,
to. So it's like, but if they're already in the dream world, why would they need to fall asleep? Like it's
exactly.
it's so they just break their own rules. I know it gets criticized a lot for that, but if you just
Yeah,
ignore that, it's the whole um Freddy puts the guy that has hard of hearing, he like cranes his hearing
Oh yeah.
aid up and then like scratches a chalkboard until the guy's head explodes. It does have some really cool kills like that, but again, there's only three kills in the entire movie if you don't count
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
like if you don't count Freddy dying or him
Yeah.
strangling his wife, but like actual real
Mhm.
Freddy kills. Yeah, there's just the hearing one, the video game one,
Yeah.
the main guy falling on the parachute and he lands on the spikes. Like
Right. The Looney Tunes death.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And I
Um,
watched it yesterday. So what are you gonna? Yeah, it's weird.
even one of the producers, if you watch the Never Sleep Again, the documentary, one of the producers is like, way too many people survived in that movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was other characters. There was like that blonde girl. There was Yaphet Moto, like those guys that.
Doesn't
Uh,
the blonde girl die too? No.
no, she
No.
almost does because like
Yeah.
Freddy's like her abusive dad, but then she beats the shit
Yeah.
out of him.
Right.
She's the one at the end that throws the pipe bomb to uh,
Yeah.
Billy Zane's sister to blow him up. So yeah, like there's I don't know, it's they could have just had more kills
Weird.
in there.
Yeah, and we got some sneak peeks of what I liked about the backstory of Freddy Krueger in this one when they found his under the house lair. They really took a nod from the Marvel comic books from the earlier in the 80s because they had him, with a dungeon like that where he'd abuse children. Um, this is, I mean, it's all implied. I mean, there's t tools of torture everywhere and all that sort of thing. I don't understand the people, and we'll get into it when we get into the remake. There's some controversy over the remake because they focused on his proclivities, on his
Mhm.
activity with the younger set. But what do those people think that he was doing in the previous canon movies with those kids in that dungeon? I mean, he wasn't
That's
bringing them down there for cookies, you know?
that was the officially it's like he was a child murderer. So beyond
Okay.
that, they never said what he did, but it was heavily implied that
Yeah.
he was a molester as well. But
Oh,
I think
right.
the filmmakers were like, obviously, even killing kids is horrible too. But
Yeah.
if they made him a molester, he would just be so hated that he wouldn't become the cultural icon that he did. So
Right.
like, but if you think about it, I think everyone kind of knows like
Yeah.
it's implied what he was doing with them. They just never said it. And in the remake, they kind of made that more of a point, is that like, yeah, he
Right.
was a molester. But as far as we know, they kind of danced around that subject, and it's kind of like, well, it's up to you to decide what he did.
Mhm.
But it's never. It's like he just killed them. Basically, is I think the official story.
I didn't look it up on IMDb, but was Robert Englund's wife, or was Freddy Krueger's wife, played by him in drag? Because I've seen him in drag before in the movie Danse Macabre, and she looked in that newspaper article that John Doe's carrying around. She looks exactly like his drag character in Danse Macabre.
I'm not sure. There was
Yeah.
the part where you see him like choking her.
Yeah, but you
Uh,
only see his back and her
oh, okay.
face.
Or like from the
So I'm
side or
not
something.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't look that up, but I will have to now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible. Um, but yeah, you get to see a bit of Flash. You get to see him kind of like as like a kid growing up, and he's like killing animals. And
Yeah.
his like stepdad, or I don't know if it's his real dad or stepdad, or someone who's Alice Cooper
Yeah, he
is
took him in. He said I took you in. Yeah.
yeah, and then he's beating him with a belt and stuff. So you
Yeah.
kind of I don't know if they're trying to like make you sympathize with him, but I think they're just let's sum up pretty quickly like where Freddy came from.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Exactly.
okay, it was good enough or whatever. And then Freddy basically, yeah, he dies.
One last thing about number six, the ending song, "Why Was I Born" by Iggy Pop. I love Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop is a fantastic artist. I've loved him for my entire life, but this song sucks. It is a suck song. It is so bad.
I can't even remember. I remember the Dawkins song from part three. Um, I don't remember this one. I'll have to go back and listen because I've
Yeah.
never been big into Iggy Pop, but I generally
Mhm.
like his stuff, but I cannot even remember this one. But if you're the expert on it, I'll have to
Oh boy.
agree with
He
you on
even dated like he you can't really market it outside of this movie either because he starts it off saying, "But Freddy's dead," like okay.
that. Although technically he, I've heard people say that like in my mind, Freddy versus Jason's in a different like universe than this.
Yeah,
So as far as things are concerned, Freddy did die for real because after
yeah,
this there was New Nightmare, which is the real world. There was
yeah,
the remake, which was a different universe, and
yeah.
there's Freddy versus Jason, which is up for debate, I think, but I consider different. So in this storyline, it kind of ends with part six.
I would say so. I would say so, and they've never revisited it.